The roar of a top fuel dragster is one of the most powerful sounds in sports, and that immense noise is coupled with a massive engine topped by an iconic, oversized supercharger. For decades, this setup has been a mandatory standard in the NHRA's premier racing classes. This strict rule often leads fans to ask a simple, yet complex question: why are modern, efficient turbochargers, the devices that power nearly all contemporary high-performance engines, not allowed to compete at drag racing's highest level? The answer isn't a simple rejection of new technology. It is a fascinating intersection of engineering limitations, extreme safety concerns, and the political and economic realities of maintaining a major sport. The engineering divide. How forced induction works. To understand the regulatory decision, one must first grasp how these two systems function to force extra air into an engine, a process called forced induction, which is essential for creating the massive horsepower needed for drag racing. The predictable supercharger. The device seen on top fuel cars is a Roots-type supercharger. Think of it as a mechanical air pump that is physically connected to the engine's crankshaft by a belt. Mechanical connection. Because it is linked to the engine, the supercharger spins exactly as fast as the engine does. This provides immediate and linear boost delivery. As soon as the driver steps on the gas, the engine gets the air it needs. Controllable power. This direct link makes the power delivery highly predictable. The crew chief can tune the car knowing exactly how much boost pressure they will get at any specific engine speed. This consistency is crucial for drivers hurtling down the track at 330 miles per hour. Shutterstock Explorer. The drawback is efficiency. The supercharger is essentially a parasite on the engine, consuming several hundred horsepower just to turn itself. The efficient turbocharger. A turbocharger is a more elegant machine. It uses the engine's waste exhaust gases to spin a turbine, which then forces fresh air into the engine. Waste energy. Since it runs on gases that would otherwise be discarded, the turbo is theoretically much more efficient and doesn't steal power from the crankshaft. While this system is a winner in street cars, the turbocharger faces impossible demands when exposed to the extremes of top fuel competition. The turbo's fatal flaw in drag racing. In the environment of nitromethane-fueled drag racing, the turbo's strengths become its most dangerous weaknesses. The problem of turbo lag. The most critical issue is turbo lag. This is the slight time delay between when the driver demands power by hitting the throttle and when the exhaust gases have fully spun the turbine fast enough to deliver complete boost. In a race that lasts under 4 seconds, even a fraction of a second of lag introduces a dangerous element of unpredictability that officials and drivers cannot tolerate. Drag racing demands immediate response. Material failure under extreme heat. Top fuel engines burn nitromethane, a powerful fuel that produces incredible heat. The combustion temperatures exceed 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, sending exhaust gases that are brutally hot toward the turbo's turbine wheel. The materials used in turbine wheels simply cannot withstand this repeated thermal stress. Early experiments in the 1980s by pioneers like engineer Gale Banks proved that under nitromethane conditions, the turbocharger parts would quickly degrade and often disintegrate by the end of a quarter-mile pass. The failure risk was catastrophic, leading to a massive debris field that endangered drivers, crew, and spectators. The political and economic reality. While the technical reasons were compelling, the final decision to maintain the Roots blower standard was also a conservative, institutional choice to protect the established sport, prioritizing safety and consistency. The NHRA is a sanctioning body that places safety and consistency above all else, especially in its fastest classes. They already had a technology that was well understood, predictable, and had a proven record of managing extreme power. Introducing an experimental power plant, even one with a technological edge, was considered too great a risk to the competitive order and to public safety. Industry and economic pressure. Decades of using the Roots supercharger had created an entire economic ecosystem. A host of manufacturers, component suppliers, and tuning experts had built their businesses around the supercharger mandate. When faced with the possibility of allowing turbos, these established economic interests strongly pushed back. Allowing an unstable new technology would have made vast amounts of specialized knowledge and equipment instantly obsolete. This pressure played a significant role in maintaining the status quo, ensuring that the final rule favored the technology that was already deeply embedded in the sport. In essence, the NHRA feared that allowing turbos would lead to an expensive arms race, where only the wealthiest teams could afford the immense research and development necessary to make the complex turbos reliable, thereby eroding the competitive balance of the sport. Conclusion: the turbocharger was not banned because it was an inferior technology overall, but because it was the wrong technology for the specific brutal demands of top fuel drag racing. The Roots-type supercharger is reliable, controllable, and predictable, qualities that are essential when a driver's life and a race's outcome depend on perfect, immediate power delivery. The NHRA's rule is a conservative choice, ensuring that races are won not by the newest, most sophisticated machine, but by the skill of the driver and the experience of the crew chief.